Today I'm working on this short-billed dowitcher, and this is for the Alaska Hummingbird Festival show, and it's due on March 28th, and I'm going to use oil paints which are really slow drying, so I need to start it today. First day painting is always the easiest or the most fun because you're not trying to perfect anything. I'm just going to get the basic colors laid on and get started. All right, so I always need my paper towels. The light in here isn't perfect. It is a little sunny today, which is unusual, but it creates some sort of shadows here and there that aren't ideal. I think I'm gonna put in some green back here and then blue here and then the dowitcher itself. They are kind of a tan colored bird, not terribly exciting colors. So I'll see what I can do to make it as interesting as possible. I have a couple new tubes of paint that I'm hoping to use to kind of jazz it up a little, this bright purple and bright green. We need a bigger brush. Paraphrased from Jaws. Put a little darker green. It's more yellow than green. Just get the basics sketched in here, the darks, the lights. It looks to me like the light is coming from the top right here. So there'll be some light hitting here, but it'll be darker under here. So we will put the shadows on the bottom left. And then there'll be some reflection on the water here. Get the shape of these feet and the legs better in here, and in the second one right now I'm just trying to get the basic shapes, the highlights. Get this shoulder highlighted, this little tummy. Highlights in here for now. Then we'll have to let it dry for a couple days. Okay, now I'll just get the water in there. Once I get that in there, I can probably call it good for a day. I'm using this filbert brush. These filbert brushes are some of my favorites. I've probably had these 35 years. They're very tough. I like the rounded edges. They're bulky, they're thick, so they hold a lot of paint. Big favorites. So let's see, we'll get this water in here. Actually, I'm gonna start now. Let's get this blue. Have kind of might make this more yellow. That would be an interesting contrast with the purple. That'd be complementary colors. And then get this blue in down here. Just rough it in. brush strokes to go across, putting my hand in the back. This wimpy canvas is moving a lot. I'm gonna go darker to lighter as we get closer to the bird. Titanium white. More titanium white. The dowitcher is a shorebird. There is a short build and a long build. One thing I learned about the dowitcher is that you kind of have to be a serious birder to be able to identify which one is the short build and which one's the long build when you're out seeing them in real life. I'm not that expert. When I looked at this, I couldn't even quite remember which type I downloaded. I think this is the short build. It seemed like I found more photos of the short build than the long build. So I'm using quite a bit of thinner. I'm using an odorless thinner. I don't really use any fancy mediums. I don't have the patience to mix them and make the proportions just perfect. And because of that, when I try to use mediums, I end up with kind of patchy surface because I don't get it even. I use more on this side and then I forget, and then I use less on this side. In college, I was taught to use like a mixture of Damar varnish. There, got that covered. And thinner, and we'd pre-mix it, and I just would always get too impatient, and then I would end up with this patchy mess. So I have given up and gave in to my propensity to impatience and lack of thoroughness. So that gives me kind of an idea of my basic composition. I think I am going to make this a little more yellow. It gives a good contrast with the purple bird. I didn't really realize I was going to make a purple bird till I started painting, but I kind of like the idea. The actual bird is kind of a boring color. So there we go. There's my first layer. Then I'll wait a couple days for that to dry. And then I'll put on the second layer. And then I'll have it ready. Paper towel. Quit being fancy. For the deadline on March 28th. It needs to be fully painted, and then it needs at least a week or two to dry. So I need to get this done ASAP. Looks good. Actually, let's patch this up a little. May as well. Glasses. So I need to get some texture in these bird feathers and get some progress on this. I think I'll brighten up the background as my warm-up. underpainting isn't dry. That's okay. got too much purple in there. My blue is contaminated with a little bit of red, so try that again. Using this reference picture that I got online from a copyright-free site, which is very handy since I'm not much of a wildlife photographer at all. Just gotta kind of hint at what the feathers are supposed to look like rather than trying to paint them in one by one. Put in more fine detail on the third session with this painting. Just sharpen up the legs a little, then I think I'll be done for today. I'm gonna leave this as it is today. This is the second session, which for me always seems to be kind of the ugly stage where everything looks a little muddy and there's not great highlights. I'm gonna have to wait a few days for this to dry. Today it was almost not dry enough, so it was a little bit difficult to get a fresh layer on there. But I've got paint on me, I've got paint on my phone, I've got paint everywhere, so I think it's time to just go wash up and let this lie for a little bit.